Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shade 45.
Wake your punk ass up. That crust out, y'all.
Sway in the morning, Shade 45.
Do that.
We're going to start the interview with the realm of possibilities.
Okay.
Because of who we have with us today and what she's been able to accomplish in her career. That leads me, if anybody was to watch the trajectory of her career, you would say to yourself, nothing's impossible. And just like Justin Bieber once said in his documentary, never say never.
Right. Amen. I like that.
Amen, right? And our next guest, who is a hero, whether she's in Avatar or whether she's in Guardians of the Galaxy or whether she's in Star Trek or just being herself, she's a hero. And she's with us today to celebrate the new Star Trek Beyond. The one and only Zoe Saldana is here.
Hi, everyone. Hola.
Now, last time she was here, we got so comfortable and transparent, we might have revealed a little too much information.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So we had to...
The sack. We had to bring it back.
We had to bring it back in. So
I was in the dog pound for that one for like an afternoon. My husband was like, not cool.
Okay, and I just want to apologize. As soon as I got word, I cleaned up the internet and washed it all down.
Thank you so much.
I had a rag and some Clorox, and I was just smearing. We won't even get into that, okay? But that's how comfortable we get. And hearing you, once again, where were you born and raised?
I was born in New Jersey. But my mom moved when I was like 3 months old back to Queens because she grew up in the Bronx and she was 14 years old. And what's up, Urban?
Carl Urban just walked by.
Your boy. Urban World's in the urban world right now.
Yes.
And I grew up in Queens up until I was 10, and then my mom moved us all to Dominican Republic, and I was there until I was 17.
Until you were 17, and then you came back and moved to New York?
Yes, we came back to New York, and at 17, I missed a lot of pop culture, like a lot, and then I eventually made my migration west to Los Angeles.
To Los Angeles, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Beautiful family, beautiful mother.
Making history, trying.
Absolutely. Tell your husband I apologize.
No, he has nothing but love. He's Italian. It's everything. Amore.
Cool. Okay, great. I just came from Milan.
Oh.
I was in Milan. Zoe.
That's where he went to school.
That's where I felt his energy.
You did. When I
was drinking the chocolate. You said never say never. They drink chocolate or something in the mornings. You'll never rap? You will never rap.
No, I'm horrible. I'm
your
horrible.
life.
Come on, Zoe.
I'm very. I don't.
It's too late.
You go real slow.
The beat is on.
I can't do
Just rhyme your name. Rhyme your name. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Zoe, and I don't rap.
Ooh, you got a bar, son. Half a bar.
No.
You had 1/4 of a bar.
Yeah, a bar.
I get too nervous. I'm too in my head. I'm a person that thinks too much, and there's no way that I would be relaxed enough to just improvise like pure poetry. I would have to memorize it and then recite it.
She needs a ghostwriter.
You need
I do need a ghostwriter.
Then she do it.
Okay. You ain't got to practice. I get that. Well, listen. Somehow you figure out your lines to all these great franchises you've been a part of. And we did have Carl Urban on, and I was bragging to him how much of a Trekkie I am. And I think last time you came on, we might have even talked about
you did share that.
How much of a Trekkie I am. And Star Trek Beyond is coming out in theaters this Friday. And just here's a sample of it. Okay. Different studio. We'll work it in the edit.
Approaching ultimate. Class M planet. Massive subterranean development, but limited to no life forms on the surface.
Proximity alert, sir. We have an unknown ship heading right for us.
Lieutenant Uhura hailed them?
Yes, Captain. No response. I am picking up some kind of signal. They're jamming us.
Magnify, Mr. Sulu. What is this? Shields up, ready up!
That sounds so intense when you just listen to it.
It really does. And I don't want you to make, are you a Trekkie, Zoe?
No, my mother is, though.
Your mother's, okay.
But you're a Trekkie.
I'm a Trekkie.
Yeah,
I'm a Trekkie.
Look at you. You're taking a moment, right? You need a moment right now?
What? I mean, Trekkie, we talked about this with Carl, like that there was no United Nations when Star Trek was created.
You're right.
And once it was created, it spurred the idea that created the United Nations.
Oh.
You know, Uhuru was just like just a powerful woman of color who just kind of defied all stereotypes and perceptions that were even handed to us in Hollywood.
Yes.
It's a powerful role to play.
It is a powerful role. And I think that, I mean, we were even having this conversation, like, what if Barack Obama was inspired as a child and having a world that was limited around him, and he was just like, no, I can be the president of the United States of America. So I feel so proud that I'm a part of something that represents peace and has reached as many people as it's reached. And now it's not just these people, it's their children. They're passing it down to their children, and their children are what's keeping this alive. And I think that we need that now. We need art more than ever to give us hope. You know, I'm not an academic person. I don't watch the news that much. I like to look at a piece of art. I like to listen to a song or read a piece of poetry, or, you know, that will give me a feeling of what those times were like. I do believe that artists are the true historians of their times, because they're the ones that don't have a manipulative purpose to documenting something. It's more like we're the victims, we're the people. This is what was happening around me. This is what I lived through in my own flesh. And I think that Star Trek was born from that, a man's desire to see the world in a better place and feeling so impotent. And then still writing it and go, you know, finding out all the little buts, fixing all those buts, you know, because at first it wasn't even a future film. It wasn't even like a sci-fi concept. It was like a concept like in today and age, there was like a federation that he created where people were working together for the sake of peace. And I mean, networks shot him down. They were like, no, that's not it's inconceivable. And he was like, the only way it would work is if it was in the future. And that's what he did, because he had like a producer tell him that. And he was like, then I'll make it in the future, because what was important was the message. And he didn't stop. So I do like that Justin Bieber thing about never saying never.
Never saying damn, somehow Justin got me. That was an amazing response right there. I have nothing else to ask you.
Yeah, that was excellent.
It does symbolize so much in so many ways. You say you're not an academic person, but I follow you on social media. But you are aware and you're conscious of what's going on, especially in this country right now.
Yes.
In this society where we're seeing, you know, young folks being murdered and killed. We're seeing police officers being murdered and killed right now. And you often, sometimes you chime in on that from time to time.
I do. I'm worried. I'm a global citizen. I'm an American citizen. I'm worried about us as a community, as an American society. I'm worried about our evolution. Evolution is inevitable, but you know, when you live trying times such as these, it kind of makes you wonder. It's like, are we evolving?
Yeah.
Are we really growing? Are we going back? Because I thought that was impossible. I'm worried, but I will never lose hope. I will never lose hope. I've traveled to so many places because of what I do, and I've been around so many people of all walks of life, and I've never felt more proud to be an American than when I'm away from America. And it's not because of our you know, skyscrapers and our Grand Canyons. I think it's because of the people. There are far greater people than there are like not so great people in America.
Zoe Saldana, ladies and gentlemen. Jeez.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a break and come back and talk more about the movie and just more about your career. And we're actually going to fill out the applications now for a Nobel Peace Prize to see if we can submit your name for it.
I got to do something noble first.
Okay. Well, shit, what you're saying is, all right, that's up next. Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5. All right. This Friday. We're all excited.
I can't wait for you to watch it.
You have, like, I kind of even want to, like, this so tight right now. You can't. There's no previews. No premieres. No screenings. No screenings.
Well, they do have screenings. We have a Paramount representative over there. You should go
What's
talk
her name?
to her.
What's your name?
Paramount. You should go talk to her because they do have screenings.
Like, you ain't getting me fired on this radio.
She's like,
I have no name.
I think you're gonna like it because this one feels more like episodic. It doesn't feel that it has so much. I mean, it's intense in its own right, but it doesn't feel like it's the continuation or we were trying to supersede something else. It had its own weight. It stood on its own ground, and within those grounds, Justin, I mean, he got balls.
He
man.
got
He
balls.
cojones.
Okay.
This man really pushed the envelope, and he was bold. He went beyond. He went literally, no pun intended. He went beyond.
He went beyond. So what can you tell us? I mean, you guys, what can you tell us about it? Okay.
Well, you're meeting them in the first act, and they're on year 3 of a 5-year mission. So they're exhausted, they're homesick, and immediately they're tested at the highest level and separated from each other, and they have to find a way to get back together, and they become. They just become the Enterprise.
They become the Enterprise. Okay.
I hate to talk about Anton Yelchin in the past tense because it really sucks that we lost him so soon, right before the movie came out. But you guys, I remember when first Star Trek came out and watching the behind the scenes and see how closely knit you guys are as a family, even like just joking around on set with JJ or amongst yourselves. It reminded me of kind of like what the Fast and Furious cast went through when they lost Paul Walker. So just what's some of your fondest memories of him to honor his memory?
I mean, I wish I could without getting emotional. It's not even been a month since his passing, so we're grieving. We're grieving his loss. He was definitely a very special individual, and someone worth knowing. And if for all it's worth, I'm grateful that his work he can be immortalized through his work because he loved what he did, and I think that what got us to put our shoes and tie our laces and put on some makeup and go promote the movie is that Anton deserves that. He deserves us to celebrate his work because he was just a phenomenal artist and the kindest person I've ever met.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. You said that to me last time you were here, but I understand.
Wow.
The moment we're in, I'll get it. Zoe Saldana is here. We mentioned that Carl Urban came by the show, and we were like, you know what, man, we've had Zoe on the show a few times, and we know a lot about her, but it'd be interesting to see what a fellow co-worker would want to ask her to answer on this show. And
oh, no.
Yeah, and he had a question for you, and this is how it goes.
Ask her why she had so much trouble saying Kobayashi Maru. In fact, just get her to try and say Kobayashi Maru.
But wait a minute. Do I say it in a New Zealand accent or
Take
Urban World? Kobayashi Maru.
Oh.
Huh? So what was he talking about?
I couldn't memorize it that day.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't. The day that I had to know it, I didn't.
You're over that hurdle. that really didn't work. Go ahead, Tracy.
So earlier when you were talking about the power of Star Trek and, kind of saying, imagine a young Barack Obama watching it and just seeing how he has infinite possibilities in his life. And it made me think about, again, yes, all the civil unrest that's happening and all the conversations around that. But also this year, we've spoken about all the racial politics within Hollywood and like the #1 hashtag, or at least contender, Oscar So White. And then now I saw reports of how they're really trying to diversify the Academy. They have a lot of different female representatives, a lot of minority representatives. Do you think that's enough? And also, during that discussion of Oscar So White, do you feel like the Latino voice was really heard within that narrative?
Yes, I think it represents any person that is not white, or a man or a white male. So I like, I'm all for that. I like the fact that we're having a conversation about it and that we're not going to drop it. What I don't like is when things fall into sort of like ill-natured and you allow your anger or your emotional feelings to get the best of yourself, and then you sort of like speak too much.
Right.
I think that when you're solving a social issue, the more practical you are about it, the more consistent you are about it, the more effective you will be. I don't like to sit and complain. You give me the problem once and allow me to provide at least 20 solutions for it. So I think that we stirred it. We definitely got them talking because there's a problem in our system. But Hollywood is just a small, clowny representation of what our government and what our country really has to address.
Right.
Which there's an imbalance. There's just an imbalance of power. There's an imbalance of the wealth, and there's an imbalance of the opportunities that people have, and it's definitely based on race and gender.
Zoe Saldana, man, I'm loving you right now.
Zoe
man.
for press.
No president.
No president. I want to play a clip from your interpretation of Nina Simone, which I got a chance to watch.
Miss Simone, you really were the first ever to blend jazz, classical, blues, pop. I believe you called it black classical. Who were your musical influences?
Well, of course, I was trained as a classical pianist since I was 3. I studied at Juilliard, and that's where I learned about Bach and Mozart and Chopin. And those are the artists that I returned to, you see?
Yes, and yet you became a club singer.
After Juilliard, I was denied entrance into the Curtis Institute because I was black.
You were fully committed to that role. Like, there was one point I was watching, I was like, well, I don't see Zoe. You know what I mean? And I think that's, I would imagine that's what any actor would want, for people to look at them and see the character. Obviously, you got a lot of backlash from that. Well, the movie got a lot of backlash from you playing that role. But you did it anyway. You stood the course. What was the biggest learnable moment for you from playing Nina Simone, walking away from that role?
That anything that you do with your heart can never be wrong. Like, we can have an endless conversation about this. I'm not saying that we don't have a problem. We do. But I think that it's a much more complex situation than for us to just sort of like tear each other apart. It doesn't feel comfortable to be discriminated amongst like your community, amongst your brethren. It's a very uncomfortable sensation. When it's an alien, when it's a foreign person, you kind of go, I have a choice. I can take it or I can leave it. When it's happening like in your block, in your house, like with your people, you don't really know what to do. So I just stood very still because I felt that silence was going to speak louder. One, because I understand that it is a topic that has brought much pain to a community.
You do understand that, though.
Of course,
Okay.
Absolutely. But I was silent because I'm never going to justify or explain my blackness. I know who I am. I do not have a problem with that. I don't hate myself for being black. I don't think I'm privileged for being lighter. I wasn't raised with lighter, lightest, lighters. I don't understand. Do you understand what I'm saying? My mother is still to this day the kind of person that if she shares with you an anecdote about an individual, she doesn't go, I was hanging out with my friend who's gay, unless the story is about something that was about him being gay. So I don't know how to describe people in boxes. I don't know how to act when I'm boxed into something. So, and I think that my career and the way that I live my life is an accurate reflection of who I am. And I feel like that's the best way that I can be black, is by striving for growth and evolution and trying to obtain some kind of affluent position, because I don't want people to just talk about Latinos or black people like, oh, they're cool, they can do music, no, we're so multi-layered, we have so much to give, but in order for that to happen, we must aspire for greatness. We must give ourselves the permission to want to be great. Nobody's going to give it for us. Nobody's going to give it to us. So I look at the Oscars so white, and it's like, why do we care about an Oscar? We're still trying to get those popular kids in school to like us. Like, honestly, like, Hollywood to me is a high school cafeteria where the fat kids that lost a whole lot of weight over summer and now feel like they're super cool because they got highlights are picking on other people, and we are giving them that power. I don't. Awards are exclusive. They make people feel completely excluded. Yeah. So for us to give it the power that it has, it's going to execute its poor leadership.
Zoe Saldana, man. Give me a hug. 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 Yes. Is your husband gonna get mad that I hugged you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay. Thank you for your honesty.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your honesty. Okay, and continued success to you.
Thank you.
What very well put, Zoe Saldana. You can find her in this Friday, Star Trek Beyond. I'll be there, IMAX, kid.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, Sway in the Morning, Shade 45.
It's Sway in the Morning, only
on Shade 45.